Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Chai Chat Club at the American Spaces in Uzbekistan, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm Gulshan from American Center Tashkent, and I want to thank everyone for joining and being active participants of our virtual programs. And I'm so excited today to introduce our speaker, Ivan Zhivkov. He is a Vice Consul in the U.S. Embassy in Tashkent, working on visa issues and American citizen services. This is Ivan's second tour as an American diplomat. He lived for 3 years in Russia, working as a Vice Consul in the United States Consulate in Yekaterinburg. Ivan enjoys the warm weather of Uzbekistan and especially the national cuisine. Ivan, thank you so much for agreeing to do this presentation for us. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me, Goshan. I'm very excited to be here. I am very new to Uzbekistan. I arrived 3 months ago. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's our great pleasure to have you, and we're very happy that you will be able to answer questions, because this is the topic that so many people ask us. They email us, they text us, so it's a great time to have you as a speaker. All right, and for everyone watching us, I want to remind that we want to make it as interactive as possible. So if you have questions, please do not hesitate and put them right here in the comment section below this video, both on YouTube and Facebook. And Mr. Zhivkov will answer them after the presentation. So thank you so much, and over to you, Ivan.
All right, Goshan, thank you so much, and welcome everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I am very, very happy to be here. This is actually my first time in Uzbekistan. I arrived with my wife and our 6-year-old daughter. We're very happy to be here. We really enjoy the weather. It's very nice and warm. We were for 3 years in Russia, and over there winter is 6 months. So here the warm weather, especially chala, was very, very welcome for us. And we're big fans of the national cuisine. Plov is our favorite, and I like mines with a little extra dumba. So that's something I really enjoy. Okay, so I know the biggest question is visas, and I am the consul responsible for visa issues here in the American Embassy. What I'll do is I'll give a little bit of a talk pertaining to student and exchange visas, and then we'll do a question and answer session, which is meant to answer your questions. If you do have any, if you do have any inquiries or anything that you're not sure about, please go ahead and ask me. Like that's what I'm here for. You can ask me in Russian, потому что я говорю по-русски, и можно и на узбекском языке тоже. Мен узбекча гапирасизм. Вот. All right. So I am, I speak Russian, Uzbek I'm still learning. Okay. So we'll get into it. Okay. Student and exchange visas. Now, as you may know, we recently opened online appointments starting in October for student and exchange visitor visas. Before that, we were still scheduling applicants regularly, but our online appointment system was not working. They had to email us with their documents, and then we could schedule them we can give them an appointment time and date. Now, starting from October, of course, initially we're opening some online appointments. Most of them we're trying to accommodate F visa applicants, we're trying to accommodate J1s, and we're trying to accommodate M, which are the basic categories for student and exchange visas. Okay. Now, what that means is that, of course, students, our priority is to make sure that students are starting their semester on time. They're able to travel for their studies. They're able to make it to their university and complete their graduate degree, because Education is very important, and we're trying to be as what was it? We're trying to be as accommodating as possible. However, there's still the COVID-19 pandemic. We do have to make sure that there are a limited number of people coming, that we're maintaining distance, that everyone is wearing masks. So kind of balancing that with the demand for visas, we're working hard on it. It is a big issue, especially visa services during the pandemic, and we're doing our best to be as accommodating as possible. Now, I will go into like some of the visa categories, how you can apply for them, what are the certain steps to take, and of course, we'll talk about everyone's favorite part, the interview, where you will sit down. Well, you will chat with me or one of my colleagues, and then hopefully, if the visa is approved, of course, you'll go over into the United States and you can pursue your studies or your exchange programs and things like that. Now, the most popular student visa is, of course, the student visa. It is the F1 visa program, which allows a person, like a student, to pursue either to go to university, to graduate education, or even to a regular boarding school in the United States. Now, before I go any further, I want to reiterate that a visa is simply gives the passport holder a permission to enter the United States. It does not guarantee entry. The person who guarantees entry is the Customs and Border Protection officers that are over in the United States at U.S. airports. So when a person flies into New York City and they have a valid visa, they present it to the officer. The officer examines the visa and makes a decision whether to allow the person into the country or not. Now, the F1 visa program is most commonly used by students going to university in the United States. University can be for a bachelor's degree or it can be for a master's degree as well. Now, the way to do that is, of course, initially you have to fill out the DS-160 form, which is found on our website, the U.S. Embassy in Tashkent. We have renewed our website recently. We're making it a little more user-friendly, so you can find the information that you need much, much quicker. And the big thing is, especially the visa section, the link to the application is right there. The application is called the DS-160. Now, to apply for an F1 visa, of course, you have to fill out the DS-160, which is a long and exhaustive form. Now, it is very, very important to fill it out fully and truthfully. No matter what people say, the application has to be filled out. And the only person responsible for your application is you, the person applying. So make sure when you submit your application, you double check, you triple check to make sure that all of the information is correct, that everything is filled out fully, and that there are no inconsistencies between various parts of the application. It is long, we know, but it is very, very important and critical when applying for an American visa. The second thing, of course, when submitting an application, you do have to have a photograph, which is a passport size photograph. Now, normally, when presenting about visas, I didn't pay too much attention on the photographs, but with the younger generation, we know that everyone likes to take selfies. Everyone likes to take photos of themselves. Please make sure that the photograph that you're submitting is professional, because a lot of times what we see is unprofessional photographs with, of course, shadows, or in someone's living room or in someone's restroom. We can always tell when the photograph is not done professionally, and we do have to send back the application so the person can get another photograph. So please make sure to get a professional size photograph when you're submitting your application. Another thing is, of course, the passport. Everyone has to have a valid passport to travel abroad. Here in Uzbekistan, it is the new red passport. I think it's more brown, I think, but everyone tells me it is a red passport. So we'll say it's a red passport. Please come with a red passport. Make sure it is valid, especially it has at least 6 months of validity left. Meaning if someone comes for an interview today and the passport expires 2 weeks from now, we'll have to send it back so the person can get a new passport. Okay, so that's very, very important. Make sure that the passport is valid. The next thing, if you have, of course, the completed application, you have your photograph, you have your passport. The next thing is to sign up for an appointment. Now we are opening online appointments. We've opened already some of them. They're all online, of course. Make sure that you follow our website, of course. If you Google U.S. Embassy in Tashkent and you click on the visa section, there will be a link to the appointment slot site. That's where you can, once you find out an open appointment, you can, of course, click in order to reserve that slot for you. Okay? All right. So once you have, of course, the slot and everything, you come. What was it? Once you have your slot, you do have your appointment, you have everything in order. One thing pertaining to the F1 visa program, there's another document that you need, which is one from your university. If you're accepted to a 4-year university or a 2-year community college or a master's degree program in the United States, it is the university's responsibility to generate an I-20 form, which lists your academic program. It lists the university where you're going to study in. It lists the major that you plan to pursue. And of course, the financial information. All right. One thing that we're analyzing, of course, during the interview is, of course, how the student plans to cover the cost of the education. So it can be either from scholarships, it can be from grants, it can be your parents or your savings account. So please, especially when you come for an interview, we will analyze the I-20. We'll ask you about your university, what you plan to study, if you have any more concrete plans, and and we'll ask about the financials. How do you plan to pay for your education? Who is going to be funding your education? It is very, very important to answer the questions honestly and straightforwardly, just so we can ascertain whether the person qualifies for a visa. Of course, once we ask about the university, please tell us, why did you choose this university? What do you plan to do there? Are you excited to go there? And things like that. We're actually very excited to hear from you. We want to know where you plan to go, what you have heard about the place, what are some of the things that you want to do there. Because sometimes the universities that you're applying to, we went to those universities too. I've, of course, interviewed people going to the university that I finished, and it was very, very exciting for me. I was able to ask them what they heard about it, are they excited for it, and I can tell them some really interesting things that they can do, not only at the university, but in the town, some of the things that they have to visit, some of the restaurants they want to try, and so forth. Okay. So for one thing that I want, of course, to mention is that it doesn't matter if the program is undergraduate, which is for a bachelor's degree, or graduate, which is for a master's degree. It is the I-20 is required for both. For any F1 visa applicant, we do have to see a valid I-20 form. Okay. And the I-20 form will have a number, which is called the SEVIS number. We want to make sure that the SEVIS number is active in the system. Now, how do you make sure that this number is active? This is up to the university. Once you are officially enrolled into the university, they produce the I-20 form and they activate the SEVIS number for you. it is very important just to check with the university that the service number is activated before the time of the interview. Okay. All right. So this is the F1 visa program in a nutshell. Okay. Now, there's another one, of course, very famous one is the J1 visa program, which covers a whole wide variety of things. Of course, it is the most famous, the Summer Work and Travel program, which, of course, I have to speak with Gulshan. We have to do closer to next summer. Hopefully, if the COVID-19 pandemic has receded into history, then and we have the opportunity to open up more, it will be a new summer work and travel season, and I hope to do another presentation solely on summer work and travel. Here I will just cover it very briefly. It is for when university students get to study get to work in the United States for the course of the summer, and then after they complete their work months, they can travel throughout the country before returning to their university. Okay. So that is one of the things for the J1 exchange program is summer work and travel. It covers a lot of scholars. For example, if you have applied for a Fulbright scholarship and you do plan to study in the United States for 1 year or 1 semester, that will be a J1 visa program. Also, if you have an internship somewhere, if you do plan to work or have some professional development, like official professional development within university or some organization, that will be under the J1 visa program. The form for the J1 visa program, which is provided by the employer or the university that you're going to, that is called the DS 2019, which lists, of course, where you plan to go, what you plan to do there, and what are the dates of the program. The dates are very important because some programs start earlier, some programs start a little later. So please if you're applying for a J1 visa program and you have your DS 2019, make sure that the start date and the end date are correct. Okay. And one other little known student and exchange visa, it is, of course, the M visa. This is more for professional development. Of course, people pilots go for pilot training in the United States, and other very specified professionals, they do go for their respective training in the United States. The most famous one is pilots. They go for pilot training in Florida or Colorado. So especially when I was working in Russia, we did see some M visa applicants. Okay. So once we know a little bit about the visa classes, the categories, what are the forms that you need, of course, there's the initial visa application, the DS-160, the photograph, your passport, okay, and the respective form, the I-20 or the DS-2019. You have to schedule yourself an interview slot online, and you have to come to the embassy here in Tashkent. Now, the embassy is, of course, if you do have your appointment slot, of course, please make sure to come no more than 15 minutes beforehand, just to make sure you're not waiting outside for your appointment slot, because sometimes the weather might be rainy or it might be cold. So please do not arrive more than 15 minutes before your scheduled appointment. Once you come, you will be shown into our section. Initially, you'll come, we'll analyze your documents, and you'll get to speak with one of us, either me or one of my colleagues. One thing to remember when coming to the embassy, please do not bring any electronic devices, bring big bags or anything like that. It is just like an airport, okay? You will not be allowed to come inside with them, and you will have to leave them somewhere outside. So it's better to not bring them in the first place, okay? The only thing that you need are your documents, and especially your passport. So once you come to the interview, you're shown in. you're shown to one of the windows, and you come you come to us. Before you come to us, one thing that I forgot to mention is, of course, you do have to pay the visa fees. The fee for the application, it is $160. Here in Uzbekistan, we only accept American currency. Well, new American currency. So if you do have American dollars and they're old or damaged, unfortunately, they will not be accepted. Please make sure that you have the right amount of bills and that they're in good quality. You will be able to pay your application fee, and you'll be able to receive an official receipt that you paid for your fee. Okay. So, what is it? So you come in, you've paid your fee, you come talk to us. All right. A lot of people are very nervous. We understand that. That's okay. It is fine. What we have is normally just a conversation to determine whether the person qualifies for the visa or not. The best advice that I can give is just be honest. This is the time when we're trying to make sure that of course, everything is right on your application, that there are no mistakes. Because sometimes if there are mistakes, and of course no one notices, the person travels to the US, and from the airport they have to be sent back because there was a mistake. So please be honest, answer the questions fully and truthfully. We do speak multiple languages here. We speak Russian, of course. We speak Uzbek as well. So the language that you're most comfortable in, please let us know, and we will accommodate to the best of our ability. Okay. And so after the interview, of course, the consul will let you know whether it's successful or not successful. We will explain, we'll provide the necessary document which explains the decision, and then of course, the interview is finished, the person leaves. Now there are a lot of common questions. Can the person apply again? Can they do it right away? You always have the right to apply as many times as you want. However, we do not recommend applying right away. Part of it is because when you applying after a visa interview, in order to apply next time, the life situation should have been, there has to be a bit of a progression. When the situation changes, then we recommend for the person to apply again. Part of it is because the interview is not a lottery. Coming in one day will not differ from coming in the next day. So please just, the consul will explain to you the decision, will provide the necessary sheet, and any other question that you may have, we'll do our best to answer them. But it's all right if sometimes the interview is not successful, or sometimes the person did not receive a visa. It is okay. It happens. We recommend to apply next time, but once the situation has changed. Okay. Now, one thing that I mentioned, of course, when now that we have opened online appointments, there's this thing called the possibility to apply through an interview waiver. Now, interview waiver, it is exactly what it sounds like. It is when the interview is not required. Now, who qualifies for an interview waiver program? Now, of course, applicants who are, initially the ones who qualify for an interview waiver are applicants who are under 14 years or over 79 years of age. They do not need an interview. They qualify for an interview waiver. The other applicants who might qualify for an interview waiver are applicants applying for the same non-immigrant visa classification, not more than than 12 months after the date of which the prior visa expired. Now, what this means is that if you had an F1 visa, or if you had a J1 visa for an academic exchange, which expired. I mean, technically, this would more apply for the F1 visa. Let's say if you had an F1 visa, you've attended 1 year at the university, and now you're back here in Uzbekistan, you need to apply again. Your visa expired last month. You have 12 months afterward in order to renew it without an interview. If you're going back to the same university, if you're studying the same major, this would qualify as an interview waiver. Now, the way to sign up for an interview waiver currently, of course, is just to send us an email. Let's say if you had a visa which expired recently, and you want to apply for the same visa class, of course, you can just send us an email on consul@tashkent@state.gov, and we will explain if you qualify for an interview waiver or not. Now, one thing that I have to mention, that people do not, if your visa is from somewhere else, let's say you got it in Dushanbe or Moscow, you would not qualify for an interview waiver here. You would only qualify if your prior visa was issued here at the U.S. Embassy in Tashkent. Another thing is if you have been refused a visa before, let's say you had a visa and then you received a refusal, you do not qualify for an interview waiver. You would have to come for an interview as well. Another thing, which I know it's a lot of information, I can clarify later on. Now, initially, the visa waiver program was valid for 12 months. Of course, your visa expires, you have 12 months to renew it. Now, given the COVID-19 pandemic, until the end of the year, until December 31st, 2021, this 12-month window was expanded into 48 months, meaning that if your visa expired sometime within the last 48 months, which is 4 years, you do have the chance to apply via interview waiver. Okay? So let's say if you had an F1 visa, or let's say you have a B1, B2 business and tourism visa, which expired in 2019 or last year in 2020, then you would qualify for an interview waiver. The way to schedule an appointment when you can come to pay the fee and to drop off your passport is, of course, send us an email at consul@tashkent@state.gov, and we'll notify you if you qualify for an interview waiver. And if you do qualify, we'll let you know the date and time that you can do it. Okay. All right. So another thing, now that of course we've opened up appointments, slowly but surely. One thing to note is that the only people who can sign up for an appointment are either F1 visa applicants, J1s, whether it's C1D, which is air and sea crew, for any visa class except B1, B2. B1, B2, unfortunately, given the pandemic, we're not able to open at the moment. So if you see an open slot and you're applying for an F1 or a J1 visa program, you can sign up for it. If you're applying for a B1, B2 visa and you sign up for the slot, unfortunately, you would not qualify and would have to delete your slot. Another thing is that the slots are only open for citizens and residents of Uzbekistan. So if you have an Uzbek passport or you permanently live here in Uzbekistan, then you can sign up with us online. And one other thing, if you're signing up online, please make sure that your application is fully filled out. Sometimes, if a slot is taken by an application that is not filled, it will be deleted. If the application only contains the name and maybe the date of birth and nothing else, that slot will be deleted. Please, when you're signing, if you're applying for an F1 or J1 visa, if you are a citizen or resident of Uzbekistan and your visa application is complete, only then can you sign up for a slot. Please make sure to remember that. This is very, very important. Okay. One thing that I want to mention is that, of course, there are some questions about application for the visa. Anyone can apply for a visa, and it is available to everyone. You can do it yourself right from your home computer. Our website is available in English, Russian, and Uzbek, and the link to our application is directly on our website. If you want to do it yourself, please, you can do it yourself. We want you to do it yourself. If you want to go to a travel agency and pay them, that is fine. We're not recommending any travel agencies. This is strictly your decision. But we want you to know that you can fill out this application by yourself, and you can sign up for an appointment by yourself. This is available to everyone on our website, and you can do it right from the comfort of your own home. Another thing is that, of course, the visa fee is $160. That's it. Not more, not less. Sometimes if you decide to apply through an agency or travel tourism agency, please know that the visa fee is $160. It is not more than that. Okay. Another thing is that, of course, some organizations might claim that, of course, apply through here, the visa is guaranteed. The visa is not guaranteed. No one can guarantee a visa. Okay, once you come to the embassy, if everything is in order and your visa is officially approved, only then you would have a visa, but no one else can guarantee a visa for you. And please make sure if you're not filling out the application yourself, the information on your application is your responsibility. Please check to make sure that it is correct, because a lot of times people come in with a lot of mistakes on their application and they did not know about it. We have to remind applicants all the time that please do check your applications. This is your responsibility because this is your application. Okay, so please double check it before you submit it to us. And once you come for an interview, be honest with us. We're not. We're here to talk to you. We're interested to see where you're going. What are you planning to do there? Please be as honest as possible. This is the best advice that I can give. And let's see. I think I've covered most of my points. Of course, one thing that these are some common questions. Maybe you have a similar question. If your passport is expired but your visa is still valid, do you need a new visa? The answer is no. If your passport is expired and you have a valid visa, in the passport, the visa is still valid. You can travel to the United States with the visa. You only need another passport, a valid passport to travel with it. The only thing is you have to carry two passports, the old one with the valid visa and the new one, the new passport. Okay, one thing is sometimes if you apply, of course, there's this thing called administrative processing. What is it, and how much additional time it takes? The thing is, times vary. Of course, if your application is sent for administrative processing, it really depends on if we have all of the information, if everything on your application is correct, if your I-20 or DS 2019 forms are correct. So it goes to show that please make sure that your application is correct. Please make sure everything is double, triple checked, just so we don't have to, just so we can process it quicker. Okay. And here in Uzbekistan, of course, a visa is valid for 12 months, which is 1 year. A lot of people say, can I stay for 1 year? Well, if it's an F1 visa, of course, you're studying. This is valid. If we go into B1, B2 visas, then it's you can only stay, the most is 6 months. But it really depends on the date that the border patrol officer writes in your passport. Okay. So with that, I will finish up my presentation. We'll open the floor for question and answer. If you do have any questions, anything was not clear, please just ask it. This is meant to provide you with as much information as possible, just so you're aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivan. That's so much important information for us. So we do have questions. Ulubek Atajanov is asking, if a person has a close relative or family member who is currently living legally in the States, will this factor affect the student who is applying for a visa?
This factor will not affect the application. The thing is, your application is individually your application. Your family members, etc., that is something else. However, on the application, there is a question: do you have family living in the United States? Of course, if you have family living there, you write yes. That's okay. And during the interview, we might ask where they live, etc., or are they citizens? Do they have legal permanent residence, which is green cards? And if they do, please make sure to have like a photocopy of it. Sometimes we want to check just to make sure everything is correct. So if you do have family there, please make sure to print a photocopy of their American passport or their green card or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next question from Shohrukh Mirzo Khalmirzaev. What is the main factors of the reason to visa denial these days? We have seen many F1 refusals in the US consulate in Tashkent. What is the main reason to reject F1 applicants from Uzbekistan?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's not a single main reason. Like, every application is different. Throughout the days, we speak to of course, today we spoke to more than 50 students. Everyone is going to different universities and has a different life story. We see a lot of, if someone did not receive a visa, there are a wide variety of factors, whether it's a mistake in the application, of course, that we'll try to explain, or the program was not current, or let's say if we do ask a lot of times on financial information, how they plan to fund the program that they've signed up for. So sometimes when during the course of the interview we found out that the person cannot afford the program that they were accepted to, then that would be a cause for denial of a visa. Another thing, of course, if someone, I don't know, if they do not plan to use the visa correctly, like let's say they receive a student visa and they do not plan to be a student of the university, or let's say they've terminated their candidacy, but they still apply for a student visa, then that will be a cause for rejection, because an F1 visa is only for students. And if a person intends to go and partake in, I don't know, if they plan to work there or something, that will not be an F visa. There's a different visa for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Not a student visa question, but maybe you can help. How hard is it to move to the US if I have a job offer from there?
Yeah, that goes into, all right, that other type of visas. Like if you have a job offer there, the company that has hired you, they have to petition for you in order for you to go and legally work there. A petition will result in, let's say, if you're hired by a company, they have to petition for you, and you will receive an H-1B visa. This is a work visa which allows you to legally travel to the United States and work there. However, the employer, the ones who hired you, they're the ones that have to initiate it within the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. They're the one that have to petition for you in order for you to travel there and start working for them.
Thank you. So Jurabek Usarov is asking, what is more crucial, to take visa documents or our personality?
Visa documents. We speak to a lot of people. There are a lot of people come from everywhere. We're very excited to see their personality. I don't know. Visa documents are the most important thing, of course. But yeah, we do like to ask, hey, how are you doing? Is everything all right? So visa documents for sure.
Thank you. Anait Garaeva is asking, it doesn't show up here. Oops. Okay. We lost connection for a sec. Anait Garaeva is asking, mention vacation requirements, please.
Oh, vacation? Oh, so if you're going, that will be a B1, B2 visa, tourist or business or tourist visa. It will be a tourist for you. So if you're going for vacation in Miami, Florida, California, Hawaii, those are nice places, very nice places. Vacation requirements are that, of course, if you're vacationing, you're vacationing. Working there is not allowed. Please, once you enter with a valid visa, please make sure to pay attention to the stamp in your passport that the officer places and the date that they write on it. That is the final date that you have until you have to leave the United States. So if you're going there for vacation, please make sure your visa is valid. Please make sure that you pay attention to the stamp and enjoy your time. Don't break any laws. We can have another presentation on some cultural things in the United States, that we smile there a lot. We say hello. We're very open people. Here in Uzbekistan, Uzbeks are very friendly too. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, just enjoy your time and don't break any laws.
Okay, thank you so much. Akbarbek Musayev is asking, how can we prove the funding? Should we show any kind of checks or bank accounts?
Yeah. So proving the funding for your university, if you have received a grant or a scholarship from your university, a lot of times the confirmation letter from the university is required, just so we can check. Of course, on our end, we also check. We call universities. We collaborate with them. I've spoken with a lot of university representatives, so a lot of times we do call just to make sure that the information is correct. So if you do have a grant or scholarship, make sure to have the letter. The other thing is, of course, if, let's say, you're funding your trip, or your parents or something, and you're bringing bank documents, please make sure they go back at least a year and a half, 2 years. A lot of times what we see is that account summaries, which really does not indicate whether it indicates how much funds are in the account right now, but it doesn't indicate whose funds they are, or etc. So please make sure to bring account summaries for at least a few years, 2 years at least.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Maksud John is asking, how to know why person got rejection, the reasons, in order to fix it and re-enter for visa.
Okay. Yeah. So if an applicant receives a rejection, of course, the officer provides the section of the law which informs the applicant under what section they did not qualify in. The most common one is the 214B section of the Immigration and Nationality Act, where the person did not qualify because either of ties to the home country or the person intends to immigrate with a non-immigrant visa. So it really depends. But if a person did not receive a visa, they're always provided the section of the law which explains it, which of course you can always read the full thing online. But this is the main section under which the person did not qualify. So we're legally obligated to provide it after every single interview. If a person did not receive a visa, here's the section. Here's why the visa was not approved.
Thank you. Mavlon Babakhon is greeting you in Chai Chat, and he's asking a question from Samarkand. Can unvaccinated people go to the US? I was sick with COVID last July, and according to doctors, I can't get the vaccine for 6 months.
Oh, sir, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's a pandemic, so traveling to the United States, what was it? Oh, that's actually something very new which recently came out. All right, so until now, traveling to the United States, you can travel without if you're not vaccinated. If you have a non-immigrant visa, you can travel. The only thing that you will need is a negative COVID test, which has to be within 72 hours of the time of your departure. So please make sure. And tests, I think most airlines, they require the CPR test, or no, PCR test. Yeah, that's the one. So make sure that you get a PCR test at least 3 days before your travel time. You do not have to be vaccinated to travel to the United States. The only thing is, if you're applying for an immigrant visa, let's say diversity lottery or family reunification, from November, every applicant has to be vaccinated against COVID. But for the purposes of this, non-immigrant visas, you don't have to be vaccinated.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Hamid Raubov says that he loves you.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, Delnora Azimova is asking, can a group of Tashkent University instructors traveling to the US as a part of the grant activity apply for an interview waiver? They are in a process of filling out their visa applications. Should they sign up for their interviews via an email, or does the system allow to sign up for visa appointments online?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if these are their first American visas, this is the first time that they're applying for it, they do have to come for an interview. If they're a group of instructors, of course, and they're going for a grant activity, please send us an email, consul@tashkent.state.gov, including everyone's information, what program they're going for, what the grant is, and we'll analyze it and we'll offer you a date and a time. Part of it is because this is a group appointment. Everyone is going in as a group. So group appointments, if you do have one, please send us an email and we'll let you know if we can accommodate it or not. But interview waiver would not apply in this case.
Mm-hmm. A follow-up question from Delnora. If travelers have been fully vaccinated, do they still need to have 72-hour PCR test results?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Everyone needs to have a PCR test result, even if they're vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fathullah Abdullayev is asking, is there an application fee?
Yes, it's $160 for most visa classes. $160, yeah.
For most of them, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same for F1.
Okay. Nizamuddin Rasulov is asking, for English language courses, which visa type should we apply?
For English language courses, the visa type, the one that you should apply for, it should be told by the institution for which you do plan to take language courses. So let's say you apply for a school with a certain a language school in America, and they accepted you. They're the ones that, they're the ones that recommend you a program, and they will tell you which visa class would be most suitable for you. So there, a lot of those language schools, they're very experienced. If you're a short-term language course, the visa will be B1, B2. If you have a long-term language course, the visa will most likely be F1. But the language school will be the one to tell you what visa class to apply for.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Shahboz Davronov is asking, for the family reunification visa interviews, as you're saying, starting this November, if the applicant is not allowed to take vaccine, are they still allowed, or does it really affect the processing time?
Yeah, for family reunification, of course, there are different processing times for the different categories. There's IR1, 2, IR5. There are different processing times. The only thing is from November, because everyone applying for family reunification, they do have to have a medical exam. The medical exam is, of course, conducted by a panel physician, and they make sure that you have all of the immunizations that you have. From November, from those immunizations, one more will be added, and this will be the COVID immunization, the COVID vaccine. So until November, if you have taken a medical exam, and if you've taken a medical exam, you do not need to have the COVID vaccine. But from November 1st onwards, if you're applying for it and you go through the medical exam, one of the requirements will be a COVID vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Barkhayot Nasirov is saying, hello, everyone. If previous visa is rejected and I'm reapplying again, can an applicant ask a visa officer the reason for rejection so he can clarify the issue?
Yeah, so for rejection, of course, the only thing we can provide is the section of the law, the one that, of course, the applicant does not qualify under. An extensive, detailed explanation, unfortunately, we cannot give, but we always have to provide the section of the law. If a lot of times, of course, if the visa is not approved, and of course we give you this, we always recommend. It's not only this, but there's a lot of information on our website. There's also, of course, the law itself, which is the Immigration Nationality Act. So please, we do have the links on the form, and you can read more about it. But unfortunately, detailed explanations we cannot give.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Another question coming from our Telegram. If I'm planning to apply for the university, I want to visit a school before or during the application process. What kind of visa would it be?
Visiting before, if it's 30 days before the start of classes, I think that will be an F1 visa. But if it's, let's say, 6 months, 1 year before, then that will be just a regular tourist trip. It will be a B1, B2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Nice. All right. I think we covered all the questions.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Zhivkov. That was very, very helpful. And I'm sure many people will be rewatching this again and again because there are so many important tips that we can take away with us.
Thank you, Gushan. Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we've clarified a lot of information. The important thing is, of course, we're here, we're working, and we're very excited. We'll be expecting to see you, to see everyone on at the interview.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for questions, and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.